All right, let's get started. I think we have enough on here. Let me rename myself. All right, thank you for making our first board meeting. Uh, Last month, we kind of ran into what was it, Super Bowl weekend or the holiday or something, but it made it pretty inconvenient. My question is for everybody here, do you want to keep the board meetings bi-monthly or monthly?
I think bi-monthly works. We don't have that much direct board stuff that we need. We've got
Cool.
subcommittees that meet enough to
Yeah,
touch base when we
I
need.
like to keep all meetings to a minimum and short. So, yep. If
Um,
nobody else disagrees, I'll adjust these for bi-monthly.
one factor I want to consider is, if we've been developing a web page for our website, and if we do decide to apply for a grant or two,
Mm-hmm.
one anyway, I don't know what the procedure is to get approval from the board to go ahead and submit an application, and whether the application deadline might come up against a grant deadline and we miss it. So how would we want to handle that?
Um, Depending on what the grant is, we can always hold a impromptu board meeting
Okay, yep.
with just the officers. If an email vote won't cover it, if there's more to the discussion, then yeah, we can gin up a meeting. I have no problems with that.
Okay, so like, if we go for the Southeast Michigan Butterfly Association grant,
Yeah.
it has to be received by March 31st. So we got 6 weeks to figure it out and get a grant application and, just work that up.
Okay.
That's a small one, but it's a start. Give us something to do.
Yep. What are we applying that to?
Well, that's what we had to, that's part of the discussion, who's our partners, where's the site, who are the folks, that kind of stuff.
All right. Uh, yeah, let me talk to the rest of the board. I don't know if we have a majority here or not. When we get down to you, let's talk about that a little more, okay?
Okay, I just want to show this. My wife just brought me in a note. I have six
Six
deer in
deer in
my
the backyard.
backyard.
You have a blind up?
What's that?
Do you have a blind up?
No, no, it's pretty interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do this spring when stuff starts coming up because I don't have fence on one side of my lot, so they just
Yeah.
walk on through.
Hey, I don't have a gate, so they walk up my drive.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any lately in the trail cam I have installed in the backyard, so I think they're waiting for all the asters to come up before they start eating them. Okay, Scott, how about giving us a treasury report?
It's real brief. We have about $4,600 in the bank. We average about 370 when dues hit as income plus all of our events.
Okay.
We working on looking at what we spent and brought in last year and kind of building a rougher budget for us.
Yeah.
And then I still have to go in. I'm just going to go in and state that we didn't do any paid any speakers, and just close out that financial thing this week.
Yeah, we got to do that at the 15th of every month now.
Nice.
Yeah, they're
I haven't even seen if they built our spreadsheet yet for this year because I've just been a little behind with events and stuff.
I haven't gone in there yet either. But I finished the state of the chapter report, and that one honorarium we had in question, I just found conflicting statements in the instructions. So I went with, hey, we don't have to provide a what is it, the W-9 or what was that tax document we had to provide?
Yeah, it was something like that. Speaking
Yeah.
of, we do have a presenter that we're paying next month, right?
Who, Kelly?
Or is next month's presenter not?
No.
Okay, so we're good then. We don't
Yeah.
need an honorarium. We just need to make sure we have that process
Yeah.
down so we get the right tax info.
Everybody's on here. What do you think is a decent price for an decent honorarium cost?
$100.
I was gonna say Ann Arbor paid Lisa and she donated it to us, and their standard rate they said was 100. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's a decent number.
Yeah. I think so. Joe Ferraro, who you might have seen all of his photographs on Facebook, um, Kelly recommended him for a presenter. And when I reached out and asked him what his honorarium would be, he said $300. I thought that's a little steep for us.
Yeah, for a 1 hour talk of
Yeah,
yeah, that's a little bit.
we passed him by, but I kind of understand it. He had quit his job, so
Yep.
speaking is going to be his full-time gig. So I think he wants to get as much money out of it as possible.
Well, and I mean, for special circumstances, we can convene a board meeting and probably approve a higher honorarium if
Yeah,
we feel it is something that is worth it to our current membership or has the potential to bring in new members.
Sure, I
yeah,
agree.
Um,
I agree.
but setting a standard honorarium that is in line with what other, comparable chapters in our area do keeps everybody on equal footing. And that's very important when we're working with small organizations because it prevents one branch who can afford to pay a higher honorarium consistently from having an edge against the others in terms of getting speakers.
good thoughts, good thoughts. And if
Yeah, and
for,
if we ever did like a conference day or a fuller speaker day, we could talk about a special event like that too. But I think our little 2 hour monthly
yeah,
meetings, $100 seems reasonable.
if we ever bring in somebody who's regionally or nationally known,
Yeah.
like Doug Tallamy or something, and we could think about charging for the event too.
Yep.
We're a little far away from that though. Anything else, Scott? Do we have anything in mind for a budget or anything? I know they were supposed to provide us with a budgeting tool on national.
Yeah, there's in the spreadsheet last year, there was some stuff that I was playing around with, but because we hadn't quite had a full year yet of
Yeah.
income and outcome, I didn't
Uh-huh.
play too much with it. So this next couple weeks, I'm gonna look at those spreadsheets and play around with that. Um, just using our $100, I can kind of plot like we expect to pay six to $800 a year for speakers, and like I can start plugging that kind of stuff in, and we can have budgets.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is we'll probably want like each subcommittee that's meeting, if they need a budget, then they need to like bring a proposal on what they need, and we can look at what kind of income and outcome we have to manage that. But we
Okay.
probably most of our subcommittees probably will be self-sufficient internally with what they can bring and pay. So
Yeah. Okay. That's good. We'll check back with you then next board meeting. Membership report, Carol. Carol, you're on mute. still on mute.
Fixed it. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. So our year to date for February, our percentage is 56% retention. But of course, I find it a little odd. This is how Wild Ones tracks retention, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I think it's just a little odd that they just start from the beginning of the year because it's not an accurate reflection on retention at all, which I'm assuming you know.
Yeah, and I know it was broke. Someone brought that up a couple months ago that
Well, it's not broke. It's just, it's misleading because
yeah,
all it is reflecting is January and February, and it's only taking those very small numbers into account. So if you go back to last quarter,
yeah,
you'll see that our membership is hovering like in the high 80s, low 90s.
yeah,
And if you add that all up and do the math, we're at like a 71%.
yeah.
You know, if you're going back from like the beginning,
Uh-huh.
which is really how it should be reflected, or it should be like a year to date reflection. That would make a lot more sense to me.
Or they should actually tell you how they're figuring it. It's year to date or month to month
No,
or
I know
something
how
like
they're
that.
figuring it.
Yeah.
I did the math. It's not hard math, but I mean,
No,
I
it's
looked
not.
at it and went, why? Why is this reflection? If you just click on that map and look at it, it looks concerning.
Yes,
And
it does.
and it's not concerning for this group. I've
Mm-hmm.
looked back, so it's not concerning. We are over the average that which I think last year was it 62 or 65 that they set.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're over that.
Okay.
So
gonna-
I do not see any issues with membership. Of course, you always want to grow your membership,
Yeah.
but the reflections that
Ideally,
are
yeah.
on the website are misleading. So
I'll bring that up at the next chapter check-in,
okay.
which
I mean,
is
I know they're struggling with their IT staff. So
yeah.
so
He
did
left.
anyone happen to notice where David wound up, or at least partially?
I don't know. I don't know. We probably have to look at his LinkedIn to find out.
No. I saw him on a Wilder video.
Oh, really?
Yes, working with Zoe and Heather.
Huh.
So I'm not saying he's working for them, but he's working with them.
He's on YouTube? So that's on YouTube?
Well, Heather and Zoe have their own company.
Uh-huh.
I've seen, several of their online presentations. So, but this is the first one I've seen him pop up at. So
Okay.
anyway, just information.
I know he was rather short on a response back to the Ann Arbor web chair. She forwarded me his response. And I thought, man, there's 100 different ways I could have replied back to her that never sounded like that. You got on her for using their acronym rather than the full chapter name. Like, how do you expect me to, figure out what that acronym stands for and blah, blah, blah. You just unloaded
Well,
on me.
it's acronyms, acronyms can be gatekeeping.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a wise practice to use them sparingly, or at least if you're going to use them, to explain them, because it sends people out. And I'm sorry, have you ever tried to look up acronyms online?
Yeah, I do that occasionally when it's kind of like a riddle, but
yeah, even if you know. So I think there's a point there, but
from
regardless,
their perspective, though, we don't have that many chapters that they can't make a list of chapters with the corresponding acronyms.
Yes, I know.
Or look it up.
But it is helpful when talking with people, especially if you're trying to promote your group.
Yep.
Acronyms do not help. They really serve as a barrier. So I think that there is a good reason to be careful and to, at least if you're going to use them, explain what they are. So
yeah, I think
Anyway.
around that time he was having an attitude issue because they announced he left shortly after that, like the next week.
Yes, yeah, and then everything else is
Yeah.
been problematic since then.
Okay.
Other things, anyway, so that's just talking about our, our growth, new members, expired members. Regarding expired members, I did send out an email late in January to anyone who has expired through the mass mailer, basically inviting them to come back.
Okay.
And there's no tracking. I mean, it doesn't even tell me who it went to, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I can't really track to see if it worked to any degree. There was one person who was lapsed who I saw came back.
Yeah.
It might have been. It might have helped from that point of view.
Well, there is a case that, people miss the notices from national to renew.
Possibly, but there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So I understand that wanting to overwhelm, people who are already getting all these notices, but I thought, just once, let's just send this out. And if it, brings back a few people, great.
And yeah, the excess of communications, that's a common topic. How many communications is too much? I'm on the side of just communicate the heck out of the membership. Just let them know that we're alive, we're out there, and we're working. We're not dead.
Yes, and even if they don't respond right then, as spring comes closer, maybe they'll be, somebody sent out a note, reminding us that, hey, this would be a good time to come back. And so maybe they'll come back.
Yeah, and periodically, we can take the whole expired list and send out a note, say, hey, we still love you.
Yes. So another thing that I have coming up that I'll be working on in March is that what I plan on doing, as long as no one has any concerns about it, is that I know that having name badges or even people individually being able to print and have name badges has been an issue. So I've got all the supplies from Derek, so I plan on printing all the name badges.
Okay.
And I can bring them, to our bi-monthly meetings as well. But what I really plan to do is to post myself out in coffee shops around Wayne County. Gonna just split up some Saturdays and tell people, if you want to come out and get your name badge, this is where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And
also, I've got time. I've got time.
And next month's meeting, if you have name badges ready by then or the meeting after that, we could send out to the membership, hey, attend this meeting and pick up your name badge, your membership badge.
Yeah. What date is the next meeting?
Let me pop over to the website. Hang on, I have that up. Kelly is speaking on March 10th.
Okay. I might be able to have it done by then.
And then I don't have it up yet, but Izzy Sheehan will be speaking in May. I'm waiting for her to give me a description of her presentation. I've known Izzy from the Ann Arbor chapter, and she is doing graduate work in native plants in an urban setting. So that might be cool.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, I'll try to have them ready for March. Okay. To bring into that meeting, and maybe we can, hopefully get some more people to show up for the meetings.
That'd be cool.
But I also thought that I could just strategically, like over some Saturdays, hang out for 2-3 hours. So people have the option of dropping in and picking up their name badge. But I also thought that I could, and I don't know how to get this. I mean, I can, to some degree, but I could have one of those table signs. The Wild Ones.
The Wild Ones signs?
Yeah.
Brochures and everything? You want it all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have the
so the-
banner. I have the banner. Um,
Well, I wouldn't want it to be anything big. I don't know what that is, but
I can make you a table tent. I just need the artwork, and I think I have that. If you want me to make, because I can make like a laminated table tent for you to take with you to these things, just identifying the organization.
okay.
And I can bring it to the March 10th meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
I do
Yeah.
graphic work for a lot of organizations and small scale printing. And by
Okay.
small scale, I mean anything legal size and under. So
Yes.
I
Yeah,
have,
I was thinking just like one of those, I don't know, one of those 8.5 by 11 that you just slide in, but whatever, just
Mhm.
anything that identifies
yep.
would be helpful. So I could have it on the table. And if if I can print off some brochures or if I can request them from Wild Ones Corporate, I'm not sure if they have available right at the moment, but take that, or I can just even print some, but have some with me for, people that are just traipsing in and out of the coffee shop while I see if anyone shows up to pick up their badges. It might be another way to draw some people in.
yes, we could. Yeah, I could give you some membership brochures. I can give you all the brochures that we have. A
Okay.
little plastic, dispenser.
And I
And
know Derek had made name badges for some of us. And I know
yeah,
Scott and I
Yeah.
still have ours. I don't know who else. And looks like Bob has his too.
yeah,
I have
Okay.
one too.
yep.
I have one
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. I'm sure the number of people who actually have them, though, is pretty small.
I think
Probably
it's
just
mainly just the officers and the board members right now. But that will also save you some printing because I know printing and ink can be a lot.
yeah,
Well, I think I don't think this is really that complicated because it's using labels. And I'm assuming I'm just going to stick them on the cardboard. So I don't see it being problematic. I mean, even though, there's some graphics to include as well, which Derek has given me some information. So any rate, but for people who are people who are just members in general at all, it's having a name badge,
it's nice.
signals you're part of the group.
Yes.
So I think it's a worthy endeavor, even if no one shows up. That maybe no one shows up, but the people in the coffee shop, somebody's interested in possibly joining.
I'm not going to quit trying to bring the people in. We probably have 90% of our membership who's out there, and they aren't coming to the meetings, and I don't know if they're accessing our Facebook page or our web page periodically, but they're just out there, and gosh, they can give us an hour of their time each week. It'd really help us in some of our projects and things.
I think
Yes,
it's
and
a great idea for outreach.
Pardon me?
pardon?
I said, I think it's a great idea for outreach, just showing up in the community with a sign saying I'm part of this organization.
Yes. Yeah, that was my thought. It's like, I'm retired, I've got time, but I realized that, I don't know what ages the membership spans, but Saturdays would make it easily for most available. And since I plan on hitting multiple coffee shops like within like one Saturday, it's like, well, if you miss me here, well, I'm not too far away, like a couple hours from 8 o'clock. Maybe I'll be somewhere at 8. I'll be somewhere else at 11. I'll be somewhere else at 2. It's like, well, if you miss me in Dearborn, you might find me in Inkster, something. It's like I'm going to try to group them together in that manner so that whatever area I'm in on that Saturday, those group of people have multiple opportunities to show up. So I'll concentrate downriver, Detroit, east side. I'll figure it out for the month of March. So that's my plan.
I'll bet you the average age for our demographics is probably in the 40-year-old range,
Okay.
40 to
Well,
50.
in which case, then they're probably working. So,
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah.
Saturdays would
Mhm.
probably work out or help at
Working with
least.
yes. Whoops. Hang on for a second. My earplugs came out. There we go. We're back in. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay,
So,
cool.
so that's really all I have for now. My idea for this spring, at least for the east side, where I am, is I noticed last year when I was either walking or riding, I like bike riding quite a bit, is that I noticed a number of homes that had native flowers. Now, a lot of times
Mhm.
they were mixed in with non-natives and some of these people could be our members, which I don't know either. But my thought was that maybe if we're armed with literature when we find these homes, that we
Yeah,
leave wild ones
that's a good idea.
information, to their door, in their door, wherever it's
Uh-huh.
legal, to leave that type of literature.
I don't know if people care about legality anymore. I get stuff stuffed in my mailbox all the time.
Yes, yes, but
I don't think they'd take wild ones to court for putting a flyer in their mailbox.
That's a
probably
good idea,
not.
Carol.
Not especially if they have native flowers all over, but
Right.
it's also a way to connect within your own community. It's like, some people aren't especially friendly to just go up knocking on the door. Hey, I want to talk to you about your garden. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll talk to you. Maybe they'll say, get off my porch. But leaving a brochure, and especially if attach your name and phone number or email, whatever you feel comfortable with. It's another way to reach people in your own community.
I
I
hope
had a,
oh, go ahead.
I had a question. Who were the folks you were talking about earlier? The two women and the guy. I don't know who you were referring to.
Who are you speaking to?
Bob
Oh,
yeah, Bob, you were talking about two women and then another guy who was curt in his responses.
oh,
Oh, I'm
oh,
sorry. That's IT related.
yeah,
That has
that,
nothing to do with,
yeah,
that has to do with wild ones.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
that's up at the national level.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. All right.
And he responded back to
I see.
one of the
Okay.
Ann Arbor web chairs in a pretty curt manner.
All right. I thought these were local folks.
Nope.
All right.
Now we send somebody to their home if it's a local folk, man.
Talking about membership, retired people have more time. I'm wondering if we should create a flyer that we could put in community centers like the Livonia Rec Center or Senior Citizen Center. Just they probably have bulletin boards. People put business cards up and stuff like that. Whether that
Oh, we
would
have
be
flyers for that. Yeah.
worth
We,
the time, make some, bring it to a meeting, people can pick some up and stick them somewhere.
I could print some up and drop them off to everybody at the March meeting.
Yeah.
And we
Anyway,
could make a note of that during the business part of the March meeting. Pick up some flyers and circulate them. That's a good idea. All right. Do you need any help on anything, Carol?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
If I do, I'll reach out.
Okay. A lot of great work. Thank you. Katie, you're up.
Hi, everybody. Um, I have no huge updates really. I just would like to say thank you for your patience with me the last couple of months because and Bob for you helping step in and do some of the emails while I was kind of taking a quick break. But my time has become a little more freed up, so I am ready to resume the monthly member emails for our member base and sending out the reminders for our monthly meetings, monthly chapter meetings. So
You have one
you
question
might have,
about that.
yeah.
Why don't we send out calendar invites?
For the
I
monthly
mean,
meeting?
pardon?
For the monthly meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah, we could.
I just don't understand why the information is just buried in a newsletter.
We have that. We still have that public Gmail calendar, right, Bob?
Yeah,
Mhm.
we have a public Gmail calendar, but we could send out via Zoom. We could send out the email, the invites.
We need to be
Just
super careful sending calendar invites unsolicited because it
Hmm.
can get us flagged as a spam account and get our accounts revoked under
Ah,
certain things. So, like, if people affirmatively opt into receiving communication regarding meetings from us, that's one thing, but we have to make sure, and I'm coming from experience. I've worked with a nonprofit organization that had a lot of their email stuff revoked for non-consensually spamming people because they didn't have proof that it was an affirmative opt-in, and it just takes one person reporting it as spam. So we have to be really careful in making sure. I think if they opt in to receive our emails, that is an affirmative opt-in, and I don't believe we email people without that, but we want to be really careful sending to non-members or general public using a calendar invite because it can get us in some trouble.
If
okay.
that calendar invite though comes through the national Zoom account, that wouldn't be, that wouldn't flag our chapter Gmail account though.
No, but it could. So the issue isn't sending the calendar invite, it's sending it without an affirmative opt-in.
Yeah.
So there's like a couple of things going on there. Yes, we can send it through the Zoom account as long as we have permission to do so. Because if we
Hmm.
don't have permission to do so and somebody says, "Well, this organization's Zoom account sent me a calendar invite that I didn't consent to," then the organization gets flagged.
Yeah.
So as long as we're sending it to folks who have affirmatively opted in to receiving communication from us,
Hmm.
we should be good.
Well,
I'm just really cautious with sending
yeah.
things like that without confirming we have that affirmative opt-in,
Yeah.
um, because getting like a service suspended for a nonprofit organization can be problematic, or even getting a service warning, whether it's for us locally or for the national organization. We want to make sure that we're following whatever requirements for communication opt-ins that we can.
I'll bring that up at the chapter check-in as well to see how their mass emailer and Zoom are figured into that. Um, the from our roster, uh,
Hmm.
the only person who says they don't want to be contacted is Evan, which kind of cracks me up, but he is the only person who doesn't want to be contacted in any way. And I know their mass emailer, they will take that into account if,
Yes, it does.
yeah,
Which is a good reason to use it, but then on the other hand, you don't have any tracking if you use it, so you just have to just kind of accept that it just goes out into the wild and does whatever it does.
yeah.
I wonder if they'll update that at all, where you could see like a sent, you know, more information on the sent end of things. Because I noticed that too. This month's email was my first month or my first time using that. And I really appreciate how easy it made things,
Yes,
and
Hmm.
the formatting, it just is really clean. But I do
yes,
agree it's a little awkward that you can't like see any past,
yeah.
You can't.
data.
So, yeah, what do you want to see on that?
It would just be interesting to see like if you ever had to go back and check like who it was sent to.
Okay.
you know, like
Any kind of
because
tracking.
the members base changes month to month potentially. So to just,
Uh-huh.
you know, if someone ever had a question of like, oh, well, I didn't receive this, and
Yeah.
you know, just trying
And
to
you
figure out
you just
why.
okay.
Um,
I'll bring that up chapter check-in too. Which, by the way, anybody, any one of you guys can join the chapter check-in if you have any specific questions you want to bring up to national, or see what any of the other chapters, how they handle a particular issue that you might be having. You know, it's great trade ideas,
yeah.
or flag something up at the national level. And they're also having some blogging training coming up. If you in the future, if we're ever interested in creating a blog.
So is that where you opt in at when you become a member initially to communications?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
and you could change that. It's on, I believe it's on your profile.
Okay.
Anything else, Katie?
I don't think so. I just um
What is the deadline again for newsletter articles?
I usually try to put them out. Usually if I get it out around the 15th of each month for the next
Okay.
month, that gives enough like lead time for,
Yeah.
you know, like the notice for the upcoming meetings and things like that.
Okay.
So I try to send it around then, but I'll always send like an email. I'll usually call it a call for content. So if you have any updates from your committees, like even just something fun to include, it doesn't have to be necessarily an event or a program, but just like a fun update to include or anything like that. Um, I'll just send an email out. I'll try to do it a week before I'm ready to send the email, but you can always go in there and access it anytime. Um, that just asks, you know, anything you'd like to include in the email. And then around the 15th, I'll go in there and pull everything and try to get that sent out.
I got to
So
put a reminder on my calendar.
is that how we would send like for the March upcoming March Livonia meeting about um, native plants in your front yard, and they're going to permit that? Is that something you do
Yeah,
as a newsletter article?
like to ask residents to come to that meeting or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
could totally include something like that. Yep.
Okay. And you haven't been sending those out, or because
I'm
Who, me? Oh, go ahead.
Bob sent them, Bob and Lisa sent them in, I think, December and January or November and December or sometime when I was overrun with school stuff, so I took a step back. But
No, I'll send you one, what the current status is on that for a Livonia native plant ordinance. And all the Livonia residents on the call here today, the 16th of next month, Livonia's Law and Education Committee will be taking up recommendations that were sent to them for uh, and some added language in the weed ordinance
Hmm.
that would exonerate people who have native plant landscapes. But I guess that would have to be supported by an ordinance.
Mhm.
And I sent them recommendations or my responses to their recommendations. And I will be speaking at the Law and Education Committee next month, just explaining.
Yay.
Yay! I don't
Is
know what
that
they're
the
going to do with
same
that.
meeting um that Michael was talking about?
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, cool.
I'll send you right up on that,
I hope,
Katie.
All right, cool. Yeah, that would be great to include.
I hope you are the trailblazers in the Detroit
Yeah.
area that set the.
I would like to just get how to do it down, so somebody else in another city can take it and they know who to go to first.
Yeah.
I was inspired by Rita Mitchell out in Ann Arbor, and her doing similar things. She created a network within the city, with a city, and that's what I hope to achieve with Livonia. Just
I
start
believe,
talking.
sorry, I was gonna say, I believe Bob Vogt has videos on something very tangential to that.
Oh yeah,
Well, it has to do with dealing with HOAs, but I'm almost positive he's got something out there about dealing with the cities as well.
I think the cities are just a big HOA myself.
Yes, but I think that he's had some online conferences. I know I attended the HOA one, even though I'm not in an HOA.
Yeah.
Just for information, and other information that came up had to do with the cities. So Prairie Up might be a place to look.
Okay.
Do you mean Benjamin vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Benjamin Vogt from Prairie Up.
He has
What
lots.
did I say his name was?
That guy cracks me up.
I love him.
He
He
thinks
has
that
lots of
every
good.
yard needs a prairie.
Yeah, he has lots of good information.
He does.
One thing about working with cities, though, every city is different,
Mhm.
Yes.
and you may have to work a totally different angle in a different city. Although I'm
Yeah.
sure some things are similar, but and it just you got to work it, work it, work it, work it, work it.
Well,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not a
but I think they have more of the ideas of like how to approach a government organization. So
yep.
I mean, like
there's information out there. I know I've read stuff. So
there's lots but like I live in Dearborn, and Dearborn is a totally different beast than Livonia
Yep.
or than Ann Arbor. You know, so
I'll keep
yeah.
everybody updated on my adventures and Livonia's adventures. And maybe we could put together a policy committee or some instructions on how to approach it in your individual communities or where to start. Okay. Well, moving on. Committee reports. We don't have, and I apologize, I did not get the meeting notice out to the committees in time. I should have gave them a better heads up. Um, but I'm glad the committees that did show up are here today. Shell, I added you.
All righty. So one thing I'd like to talk about is training somebody who can cover the hybrid meeting for our chapter in the event that I am not able to attend.
I will be,
Okay.
and we could even grab another person if somebody steps forward.
Yeah, I'd like to have someone else too, just so that, because oftentimes you're running our members' meetings and it's a lot
That's
to try to
true.
coordinate.
Yeah.
It's not hard, and I'm happy to train folks, and how I envision that working is having them bring whatever like computer or device that they would use to connect to the meeting to one of the member meetings where I would be at, and having them go through the setup process so that they have that hands-on experience, because nothing really compares to that hands-on experience. I mean, most people can figure it out with written instructions, but
Hmm.
being able to try it out with somebody who knows what they're doing there is invaluable in my experience and in training other folks to do this type of thing. It's not complicated, but everybody's technology is a little bit different, and how I hook up to my computer is going to be a little different than how somebody else hooks up to their computer.
Okay.
I would also like to, while I am happy to continue providing the equipment that we use, at some point it might be a good idea for our chapter to get their own hybrid kit.
I
Um,
agree.
like just so that if something happens to me, for those of you who aren't very familiar with me, I have a complex health condition and frequently have to take time off of anything because my health deteriorates and I have to undergo medical treatments or testing. And I don't want to be the holdup to our organization not being able to provide a service that our membership has come to rely on. Um, I have recommendations for the products that we use, and they're not that expensive outside of if we wanted to try to get some type of a dedicated tablet or like a Chromebook or something to connect to the internet instead of relying on personal computers. That's the only like big expense that we would have. Most of the rest of the equipment isn't that expensive. I think it's a couple $100s. I mean, Bob, I can't remember. I know I sent the equipment list to Ann Arbor Wild Ones and they
Yeah.
purchased a kit.
Is that the same one that you would use?
Yeah, it's what I use. It's
I'll
what we
look
use
that
now.
up. I looked that up. I have
Um,
all that equipment right now in my possession.
yeah, so I gave the Ann Arbor group the equipment list that I personally use and what we use right now to run our hybrid meetings. I just feel like succession planning and planning for inability to attend would be a wise choice at this point. Not that I expect to like, I love doing this. It's something that allows me to contribute in a way that my disabilities permit because I can't always be outside and working in a garden. Um, but my reality is that sometimes I'm not going to be able to do it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
al-
Oh, go ahead.
Also, I do want to give blanket permission to share my email address with other Wild Ones chapters who are interested in talking about hybrid setup. I appreciate everybody who emails me and says, "Hey, can I give your email out to this Wild Ones chapter?" If it's a Wild Ones chapter specifically, please feel free to pass my email on. You don't have to ask me. If it's another tangentially related organization who is asking about it, go ahead and reach out and ask if it's okay. Because sometimes I don't have the bandwidth to work with outside organizations. But if it's a Wild Ones chapter that's looking to do what we're doing, I'm happy to help.
Okay. Um, would you be open to uh, maybe have a meeting with other, you know, other ch national chapters interested in hybrid meetings?
Oh,
That's
I absolutely would be open to having a meeting with, it doesn't have to be local to Michigan. It's any Wild
no,
Ones chapter.
just trade ideas and how one chapter sets up versus another. And I've just been monitoring some videos from other chapters, and they do it really well. And I think they probably have in-house equipment, wherever they're presenting from. But I know some colleges have that in
Yeah.
libraries. But
Yeah, absolutely. As long as I usually need about a 2 week notice to schedule meetings, and some times of the year I'm not available because
yeah,
I help run like events.
hmm
So if it's in my convention cycle, I'm less available to do things like that because I'm focused on putting on an in-person event.
Okay. I'll also bring that up at the chapter check-in. And then I'm not sure how many other chapters will be on. They started holding those things like at lunchtime, and it's like a lot of people are working then, so you don't get a heavy
Yeah.
chapter turnout during that time.
They usually conflict with when I have an appointment.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
I
know.
try to keep up on all of the meetings. The Wild Ones Facebook pages and groups have been a huge source of information. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, sometimes I can't attend meetings because I'm in an appointment or otherwise
hmm
unavailable.
Okay. You mentioned two things here.
Mhm.
One earlier was making signs.
Yep.
An idea that's been bouncing around in my mind that I was either going to bring up with somebody with Canva experience or anything other type of experience is there's opportunity to raise some money if we make plant signs. You know,
Oh, like Wisconsin does,
yes,
or Missouri, sorry.
yeah, someplace, yeah, they make plant signs, they sell them, and it's on
Mhm.
that plastic corrugated material. And I can
Yeah.
send out a link of what it looks like. But that might be an opportunity to raise money, or any other uh, type of native plant sign. Like a sign similar to what Wham has, or Midwest native plants. They have a very florific. This is a native garden sign. I don't like the Wild Ones certified native garden sign. It has all the charm of a speed limit sign for me.
Send me some examples and I
Okay.
can see what I can do. I can't print on like the corrugated
Yeah.
vinyl because I print on a home printer. I
Yeah.
can, however, print on printable vinyl and put a water resistant laminate over that. And I
Okay.
use that for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, so I can do that and then apply that to different
I'll
things.
send you some examples, and you could send me, what you do. And even if we have to send something out
Yeah.
to print on I forget what this is called, but it's the corrugated plastic stuff. Um, we could do that if Scott tells us the costs are in line.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can do some research. I can do some research on that. I've been looking at different options. Like I
yeah.
said, I do small scale event printing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
things like brochures and flyers, event venue signs. I also do custom stickers, and
Yep.
I do the design work for the event.
Yeah.
So I'm fairly proficient in Canva, and I do have a Canva Pro account.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I am not afraid to try new things and run a lot of tests to see if
Yeah.
to make sure that they look good. So I'm happy to look into working on the design for the signs, because even if we have to get it printed on something else, like I can print on like um transparency film.
Yeah.
I just can't print on thicker materials because that requires an industrial printer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll figure it out if we can do it or not. But I just
Yeah.
thought that might be a interesting way to raise money. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think our membership, who we hardly ever hear from, would be interested in signage.
Yeah, I will email you some examples of products I've made for the organizations I work with, just so
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of see what I can do.
Yep.
Um, and I will
Well,
look.
we could also, we could bring it up at chapter check-in to see how they're doing it in Minnesota
Yep.
or Minneapolis, wherever it is.
Yep. We can bring that up. I know some other chapters, man, they're raising a lot of money from plant sales. Just from looking at their state of the chapter reports, they sell, the plant signs and plant sales are they're making a ton of money from plant sales.
But they have to order all the plants themselves, right?
Well,
Have
yeah, they have to order all the
to order
plants
them.
themselves.
Mhm.
It, yeah, they're the ones that they're going to run into having to report taxes and everything else like that. And I think that might drive Scott crazy. But,
Well,
but
especially since it's an issue they haven't fixed yet.
yeah,
So,
okay.
They
Yep.
have to
Yeah,
sign.
Shell, you and one other thing, Shell, you and Scott working. I know a lot of our our committee chair people are doing things outside of Wild Ones that are related to, the Wild Ones mission. Is there anything that Wild Ones can get involved in that you and Ska are doing?
So we do fan-based conventions.
Oh, all right.
So it's mostly sci-fi and literary stuff or board
Okay.
gaming.
Ooh, we could
I
go,
mean,
the plant
we
that ate the earth or something.
we do have community tables at these events for
Yeah.
organizations that we can often get into, but that's our focus is we do right now we work for we're down to two local small fan-based conventions. One of them is called Confusion, and that's a winter convention in January, which is primarily author focused, sci-fi and literary, but they do have what they call fan tables for outside organizations.
Yeah.
And then the other one is a board gaming convention in Ypsilanti that we do.
Ooh.
Now, that said, we do try to find local charities.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that we might be able to pull from Wild Ones for. We tend to focus on educational related
Yeah.
charities, but I know that Wild Ones and many of our members might have like resources that could benefit from fundraising. It's usually not a whole lot. It's like, like $300 or $400.
Mm-hmm.
But $300 or $400 donation isn't anything to sneeze at in this day and age.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Pardon me, Mike?
What's that?
Oh, I thought you said something. Might have been Carol.
Nope, not me.
Okay. Mike, I guess you're up.
Okay. Say, talking about fundraisers, maybe somebody who has a good imagination can create a native plant board game, like Boardwalk or
Yeah.
something.
You violated HOA
There's
Yeah, go to
regulations, you go to
jail.
jail.
Uh-huh.
There's actually a board game in existence called Wild Crafting that isn't necessarily about native plants, but it's more about foraging in your local ecosystem.
Hmm.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
I'm looking that up right now. I think I need it. It sounds really
So for grants, Derek and I and Katie have been mocking up a grants webpage. Derek has been
Mm-hmm.
working on it. He's not here today to maybe show it, but we're pretty far along in that. Just got to finalize some details, and then we'll be posting that. And then he probably wanted to show it to the board before he made it live to get comments. So I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a web developer, how he actually wants to do that, but we ought to get some input from the board before we do that. But we've been working on that, and it's almost ready to pull the trigger pretty soon on that.
Okay. I can send a
Uh,
note to Derek that he could create a meeting for that, a Zoom meeting, whenever he's
yeah,
ready.
yeah, that'd be good. So there are grants out there available. I don't know how much we want to jump into it. If we do one or two this year, the Southeast Michigan Butterfly Association has a small grant that could be
Mm-hmm.
an easy start for us this year. But just need to get the web page up, communicate the availability to the membership, find out who's interested in volunteering, and write the application and just do it. Uh,
Wham also has a grant. I'm not sure when their deadlines are, but
Yeah, I've got a list of about 30 different organizations that, with different timelines and complexity and things like that. So there's a lot out there. I don't know how we want to keep it simple.
yep.
Uh, we're pretty much focused on students now and doing, Lori Seed education grants and things like that, and that's fine. Um, and I don't know if we could help with like uh, MSU Extension, if we could be a partner with them if they go after a grant, because I did talk to Leslie
Yeah.
Kerr about that. So I told her I'd come out to her office someday here in early March and just sit down and do a little brainstorming.
I like that idea. And plus, at the March meeting during the business piece, I could have you stand up to talk about that
Okay,
because I'd like to get that idea, put that idea in the heads of all of our committee chairs and see if they see, any opportunity, how they could use a grant, for what they're doing for school gardens or community science
right.
or habitat stewardship.
for me, I'm retired. I'm out of the loop with what schools do and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
don't know anybody who's a teacher or who can do
Jordan.
these things. So I can be more of an organizer, but I'm I'm not the one who like contacts people on the ground
Yeah.
necessarily, who can say, oh, this school has an empty lot or an empty patch of ground and
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's do one here. So folks who have kids in school, are on PTAs and stuff like that, that they got their nose to the ground and can figure that out
Yeah.
easier and then just pass it up the chain and we can get working on it.
Yeah. Jordan would be boots on the ground for the school garden.
Yeah, yeah.
Kelly for community science, Evan for, habitat stewardship. I just ran into him at the Wayne County Conservation District board meeting the other week. Funny, I didn't know he was on the board. All right. Anything else?
Yeah. Well, we were doing the winter potting thing here a couple weeks ago. I ran
Mm-hmm.
into Minden Humphrey. I don't know if anybody knows who that is. I don't
Mm-mm.
even think she's a member, but she came to get some seeds and pot some up, put them in gallon things. And she was telling me that she did a grant with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. She owns
Okay.
property in the city of Southfield. She
Yeah.
got a grant from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Program. If you have a half-acre of land, you can apply for the Fish and Wildlife Service to come and plant a prairie on the
Yeah.
property, which is pretty amazing. So I don't know people who have property, but maybe a lot of members do, and they want to, avail themselves of that opportunity. I mean, it's sort of a grant matching kind of thing. I think she had to
Yeah.
match $400 to what the feds were going to match, but she's going to have a half acre of
Yeah.
land planted as a prairie.
I
So,
think again, Evan is probably, I think he's got a couple lots in Detroit that he's planning that he may or may not know about that, but
uh,
we could put a bug in his ear.
yeah, so that's a little help for folks.
Yeah.
Another thing, and this might go along with fundraising, I sent along a notice to some folks this winter about the little free native seed libraries. So you
Mm-hmm.
know that folks have little book libraries in front of their houses. Well, you can do the same thing and put native seeds in there. When people walk by, you can put packets of seeds in there, give a little instruction sheet they can take, and they can go have at it. I was
Yep.
thinking if we had some seed money or volunteer donations, we could make those seed libraries and sell them. You could probably
Oh,
make one for 10, 12 bucks, I think, and probably sell it for 40 or 50 and make them cute. They can paint them how they want. You just build a structure and do
yeah.
that.
Put
So I know a couple of
uh
members have saws. They like the idea. We could get, a weekend party going and zip some up.
just put seeds that require no stratification or little stratification.
Yeah, there's seeds that don't need stratification.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, even zinnias and marigolds that are the right
Mm-hmm.
variety that don't need stratification do a lot for pollinators. So, we can keep it simple for folks. And if they want more challenge, then we
Yep.
can go that route.
Okay.
Uh,
We can explore
so,
that one.
um, I think that's probably all, but Shell, if I could bring my computer, I used to give local and national presentations back in the day when I had to work for a living. And I like technology. I've got a good computer. I would be willing to learn how to do that too, Bob.
That
I
sounds
always like to
fantastic.
keep my fingers in the technology. It's all technology nowadays. It's just crazy. I hated cell phones. I never wanted to have a cell phone.
I thought when I quit work, I'd give up my cell phone and every form of communication that had me tied down.
Can't
It
do
didn't
it.
work out so well.
Can't do it.
Nope.
I do more technology related work now that I'm medically retired from my job than I ever did when I worked in IT.
I tell my wife, man, ever since I got out of the military, when I was 24, I was tied to either a pager or some other device 24/7. I was expected to be on call 24/7 right up until the time I retired. And I swore when I retired, I would throw all that stuff away. Yeah, it hasn't happened.
Yeah, I was in the oil field. I was on 24/7 call too.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, that's about it, unless anybody has any questions. But for the grant thing, we're getting close. We're ready to pull the trigger, have a
All right.
page where people can come to the website, see what grants are available, and say, "Hey, I'd like to volunteer to help do with that." You know, do a call for volunteers.
Yep.
And
Well, when you're ready, just throw together a meeting, send out the invites,
okay,
and you could do a demo. You and Derek.
okay,
Okay.
yep,
I have a quick question for Mike. When you mentioned the fish and wildlife thing,
yeah,
the them or the the planting of prairies. Did you happen to look that up? Do you have a link? Do you have a link, a web link?
yeah. I have a link. I actually have her contract. She sent me her contract. She signed. And it stipulates, just what her responsibilities are, what the Fish and Wildlife responsibilities are. It was very simple for a government contract. I think it's only 2 pages.
Could you send me a link to the fish and wildlife write up
Sure.
about it?
Okay.
I know somebody who might benefit from that.
You bet. You bet.
You probably have somewhere my email.
I do.
All right, thanks.
You bet, Don.
There was a small group in Northwest Detroit that got a fish and wildlife grant for planting a prairie on a lot in their neighborhood. Unfortunately, the guy who planted it really didn't take care of it, and it was infested with weeds.
You do have to maintain it. That's one of the
Yep.
requirements.
He had no idea how to maintain it. It just went to weeds.
Uh,
It was really sad. We took a look at it and we were going, yeah, there's not much we're going to be able to do with this. Total waste. All right, let's see. School Community Science Committee. Kelly is speaking at next month's meeting about community science. And in April, she's going to involve our chapter in the iNaturalist City Nature Challenge. If look that up if you're not familiar with it. It's a global iNaturalist event where for a week you get people outside and just catalog everything and anything. April's a little early for Michigan in the northern states, but I mean you just take photos uh, and catalog an iNaturalist of trees, tree bark, ephemerals that might come up. Um, I thought it'd be an excellent way to get our membership just out and doing something. So she's going to hold a workshop April 25th, I think she mentioned as a date. And that's comes just before this whole City Nature Challenge starts. And we're reserving the room at the EIC for her to do this workshop, a how-to thing. And then we're going to go outside at the EIC and she's going to walk us through how to do it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
The Michigan Botanical Society did that with Skylar or somebody,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
and it was really. I went to it and it was really good.
Yep. Kelly,
the
go ahead.
the Michigan Frog and Toad Survey is coming up. I was talking to Patrick Corey the other day, and he trained for that, and that's coming up. I think in April. If anybody's interested in doing the Frog and Toad Survey. I
Where do you
guess they
go
have
for that? I mean,
web materials. You learn what the call is, and you go out if you live by a pond or something, which I don't.
yeah, you could probably go up to, I live just south of Rotary Park and just north of the Rouge River, that goes through Westland, just
Yeah.
south of us. That might be
Mayberry
cool.
Park has a lot of ponds. The peepers are out there in mash. You can hardly hear yourself think
Yeah.
when they're at it.
I, Friends of the Rouge does that stonefly survey in what, January or something, wading through the creeks around here. Nope, too cold for me. All right, let's see. Yep, social media. I'd like to get Marissa more involved too in what we're doing. Anything if she has any ideas on social media or um, yeah, any type of social media, just getting the word out.
I
So
wonder,
I'll check back with her. Pardon me?
I wonder if it would help to do, a new idea would be to do some short videos of different things if somebody
Ooh,
were interested in that.
video shorts.
Yeah, you know,
Write that down.
I don't know what exactly, but it kind of has to be somebody who would like to do that, would be
Yeah.
motivated and good at it.
One other thing I mentioned, probably most people who plant native plants are also birders and like insects. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
playing with anybody ever heard of a sparrow halo? It's a contraption
Oh
you hook
yes.
up on your shepherd's hook to keep the
Yeah, Natalie
sparrows and
has it.
starlings
Natalie
at
had
bay.
those out at her yard
Oh,
last year.
It really works. Really works. It's amazing. But that could be something that we could do at a meeting too, a short video or presentation, how folks can keep the sparrows away.
I'm
Um,
not worried about sparrows, but the starlings are crazy.
Yeah, starlings, you can control them to some extent.
Well, I use them for entertainment for my cats, but they ate up a really expensive seed wreath I had, but they were entertaining. So I bought a cheap seed bell, and you know they would not eat it. Would
Oh,
not. Nope, only a squirrel ate it.
yeah, a
So,
lot of birds have to be able to, like nuthatches and things, they can eat things upside down. Well,
mhm,
starlings can't do that. Sparrows can't do that.
yeah.
So a lot of time how you configure the food out
Oh,
in the space can help restrict certain bird species you don't want to feed.
I
okay.
tried to suet feed her like that, and the woodpeckers couldn't figure it out either. Lazy birds. All right, Derek's not here. Evan's not here for habitat stewardship. Um, the website committee, Derek's not here. Volunteer committee, we're open if anybody knows of anybody who could be a volunteer chair.
What does the volunteer chair do?
Organize the volunteers for our different Wild Ones events, tabling events.
Oh, okay.
I
Uh,
nominate Donna.
yeah, that's who's stepping back. Uh, yeah, it would be, stewardship, if we have any stewardship events or things like that. They organize the volunteers for that. And then program committee, Steve Ray. I'm working with him on upcoming events. So far we have, and I'll share that out here in a second. Hang on. Give me a second to share that. I just put together a list of everybody who's responded from member to member yard tours. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, well, 7 people. Evan mentioned that he would uh, show his couple lots that he's restoring, but I have to confirm with him because he's pretty busy. But I will be showing my property this year, And Derek, we have a couple people from Livonia, three people, two people for sure from Detroit, and Brenda Sattler. Uh, she's the only one I have a firm date with. That's the third Saturday in July. And she has a pretty cool property, but she offered to show her property this year. And Katie's going to show her property again. And Katie, I'm looking for some other Southgate. I think there's a couple other Southgate members, and I'm going to see if I'm going to reach out to them. Here it
Yeah,
is, Lindsay
that would be
Kerr,
great.
Lindsay Kerr, to see if she'd be willing to show her property as well.
Yeah.
We might be able, show them on show both on one date,
Hmm.
and also Lisa Hagopian and Dearborn. And I'm going to reach out to the east side too. There's nobody on the east side that volunteered. I'm going to try to grab a few people. But again, I'd like to do member-to-member yard tours starting late June all the way through September. And I'll work with Steve Ray on organizing those on dates and how many we can do on one date. And other than that, we would be looking for programs. That's going to be our summer program. And also maybe we get a tour through the EIC property with Rick, and maybe another nature preserve, a tour through another nature preserve for another. I'd like to have one each month during the summer. So I'll try to organize those. If anybody else has any other ideas for programs, please hit me up or Steve Ray.
One idea is maybe just to take a nature walk, like at Mayberry or something
Yeah,
during wildflower season,
not
and
necessarily
or they,
just to walk, do forest bathing.
yeah. And then there's that property. What's that property in Westland? I forgot the name of it. There's
Holiday,
hmm?
Holiday Park
Yeah,
or
Holiday.
Holiday Preserve. Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
that
There's
might be
a
cool.
lot of there are a lot of native plants there.
That might be cool. Okay.
I'd be willing to maybe work on that.
All right.
Scout out some trails and find some interesting plants to look at at a particular time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sierra Club I used to hike with them a lot, and they used to do a lot of wildflower walks like that. And it can also be, I like somebody could lead it and know of some clusters of plants to look at, but it'd be fun for people just to kind of on the fly identify some things that they see.
Yeah,
The mem-
iNaturalist practice.
Yeah, I naturalist
That
practice.
might be yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah,
the member to member tours would be a good time to also, if we wanted to do video shorts, that would be a good place to kind of record some tour information. Leave out the identifying information like the city, just say this is in southeastern Michigan. But this is something that you can do. You can do those very I won't say easily, but it can be done competently with a cell phone camera. So you don't need any
I'd like
special
to know how.
equipment.
I would love to be able to record one or all of them. I've seen some done, and they are just fantastic material for our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Let me see if I can schedule these. Outside things are hard for me because I am often in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and many outside venues are not wheelchair accessible, even if they say they are. I can walk.
Yeah.
So let me see if when we get these scheduled, if it is at a time when I can make it and I'm able to be out in the heat that day, I'm happy to do it for you. But again, it is something that most modern cell phones have video capability built into their camera.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, and I'd love to be able to practice that with you. I would, because that is one of the things that are near and dear to my heart, to be
Well,
able to record people's yards.
yeah,
I
the
mean, you and I
recording
can get
isn't
together offline too.
Oh, pardon me?
the recording, let's say the recording, yeah, there's a knack to it. And I spend a lot of time recording my cats, but
Or
um,
interview sort of thing.
but it's the editing, I used to have access to Camtasia when I was working, and I loved, you know, editing stuff when necessary, but I'm not working any longer, so I don't know what programs are out there that could be used, because it's the editing that you really need to
Yeah,
do.
clean it up. Yeah.
Yes.
I do have access to the full Adobe suite of products. I have to see if there's video editing software in there. And I know I have something through Apple as well for video editing. I haven't played around with it because I haven't done videos recently. I stopped doing video tutorials a couple years ago. So Um,
Hmm.
but that's something I'm willing to work with. And Bob, you can always reach out to me offline. I'm happy to informally meet with you and practice.
Yes, I will.
Uh, you
We
know,
both live in
it's
Livonia.
we both live in Livonia. My issue is I don't drive.
Yeah,
So
I could drive to you. Okay. But
Yeah, we have
yes, keep that thought.
23, we have 23 members who live in Livonia.
Yeah, Livonia's a big,
Big group.
yep, big group.
I think it was the Livonia gardening is where this chapter started.
Yeah, yeah. We drew a lot from there. Yes. Yep.
Steve Ray was also interested in the Little Seed libraries too. So
Hmm.
that's not necessarily a program, but I don't know how you would classify it within the group.
Community outreach, maybe.
But making the little seed places and
Yeah,
instructions, and
yep. We can
they could
figure
be
that out. Yeah,
assembled or they could be kits, just however you want to do it.
that'd probably make them assembled, and then sell a seed kit to them or something, or include the seed kit with the assembly. All
Yeah.
right, we're coming up on an hour and a half. We got 5 minutes left. Does anybody have anything? I'll table we talked about mass emailers with membership communications. I'll bring that up at the chapter check-in. Think about member recognition. Prior we had volunteer recognition, but there's an awful lot of chair people here that are doing a lot of great work that I'd like to recognize as well. Um, you know, Apart from the volunteers, they're doing all this stuff in addition to whatever they're doing on the side. So think about how we can recognize just our members in general.
Mhm. Do you want to hear a little bit about Seeds to Community? A quick report on
Sure.
Seeds? Well, that group is going like gangbusters. Thanks largely to Derek.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we already have done like 6 events in the last year, and the latest one was winter sewing at Centennial Library 2 Saturdays ago, and that worked out really well. And the cool thing about that, I think, was we had 5 people from Detroit that came to that,
Yes, that was cool.
and they were interested in trying to arrange an event in Detroit, like a winter sewing event in Detroit at a library or something like that. So that would be really cool to do next year. I think if we could get our foot in the door, that would be it's kind of an underserved population
Mm-hmm.
to tap into or
Yeah.
support, right? And I was excited that there was a Muslim woman who came to
Yep.
the workshop also. Cleopatra was her name, I remember. And and I was excited because there were 3 people who came to the workshop from the Facebook group that I have for Dearborn area native plant enthusiasts. I was excited because I think they heard about it there. So that was really cool. I love when cool things like that happen.
Yeah,
Um,
and you and Derek maybe get together and put together some numbers and things that Katie can publish at the next for the next newsletter and
yeah,
even put on our website.
yes, very likely. But he, as soon as that was over, a few days later, he took off for India for 2 weeks. So,
Yeah,
but I'm sure that that kind of thing can be done.
yeah, when he comes back, winter sowing will still be a thing.
It's also been nice that the Centennial Library has been very supportive of Seeds to Community. We did 2 seed cleaning events there, and then the winter sowing.
Hmm.
Derek and I have talked about trying to reciprocate and see if we might grow some plants for them when we seed trays for their, because they now have 2 sets of rain gardens outside that,
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
you know, and maybe another thing we thought about was maybe helping them once or twice with weeding during the summer months of those gardens. That's something they struggle with, and
Yeah.
like they had they had cottonwood plants start to grow in the rain garden by the door, and a friend of mine noticed that, and she got one of the librarians to help her dig those out. But I still have to work a little bit on that and see if they will like like us to do that kind of support for
We
them.
could put a work day. Once
Uh,
I talk to Rick, I'm going to post all the EIC work days through the summer,
okay.
through the warmer weather.
And one last thing is I kind of wish we could organize some kind of event where we could package some of the seed that we still have, like
Hmm.
like the A's, the seeds that don't need stratification, so we could give those out at our events, our tabling events and things.
Hmm.
So when Derek gets back, maybe I'll try to talk to him about that.
Yep.
I now consider myself an expert on seed packaging. I've I've packaged so far this year for the library like 845 packages of seed. Not totally myself. I got some help, but I think that that would be a good. We don't want to waste that. Well, there will be ways that that seed will be used, but that could be one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to get rid of all the seed that we collect and just collect more fresh stuff this year. Starting from the stuff that grows in the spring. A lot of people collect in the fall, but they don't think about collecting early summer and through summer and
Oh yeah,
into the fall. But we get some of those early blooming plants to provide.
hmm And last thing, the next Seeds to Community event will be, I think, in May. I don't think the date is selected, but there will be a potting,
Yep.
seedling swap and
Hmm.
trace event at the EIC.
Okay. Yep. When Derek gets back, we'll get a date for that and publish that out. Okay. I appreciate everybody hanging on here. If anything, you have any additional questions, hit me up. And I thank you all for joining tonight. Have a good evening.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
Bob.
You too.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Thanks.
Bye.